Good afternoon and welcome to Camping with Wade's RV. This is 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. I'm Skyler Cooper, joined by Willy D, and today a fun show for you, kind of an on-location show with Willy D, who's out at a rodeo. We're going to find all about it and what they're doing out there and how the RV industry plays into that. Willy D, where exactly are you? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great this weekend. I am out at Calvicade Rodeo, and I'm out here in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. So it's not too far away from Bartlesville, and it's about 45 minutes or an hour away from Tulsa. So it makes it really, really easy to come on out here if anyone's looking for a great time. And we got a couple RVs out here, and we're really excited about all the different events. There's a rodeo, there's the concert, and then there's tons of different fair foods, which is one of my favorite things around.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Let's remind everybody before we get too far into the rodeo, how they can find you guys, get a hold of everybody at Wade's RV.
Okay, so if you're not going to come out and have some fun with us out here at the rodeo this weekend, then go on out and see the guys at Wade's RV. We have two locations. So we have our location at 121st and Highway 75, and we also have our location at 161st and Highway 75, which you can't miss. And as you're going by, make sure to check out our new construction. We're putting in those new concrete demo pads up there, and they're going to have all electric plugged in. So it's going to be really cool. We've been working on that for a couple different weeks. So go on by and see the guys. They're going to be out there today until 5 p.m. So if you're looking for any travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, we got it all out there. And you can always give us a call at 918-291-1011. And of course, you can always get online. We have our great, fantastic, groundbreaking website at wadesrv.com. You can check out the value of your trade. You can also go on there and actually completely buy an RV online. So that's really cool as well. And then you can also see all the action. We're going to be filming out here. We've already got a lot of great footage. So if you want to see anything that we're doing and hear the adventures or see the adventures, get on there and on our blog page, which is connected to the YouTube. So get on there. You can see all the different adventures and see exactly what we're doing over at Wade's RV. It's a really exciting time.
So last week when we started talking about this, that you were going to go out to the rodeo, I remember hearing about this rodeo in high school years ago because it was something that some of my friends would go to. I was in the FFA, and I didn't raise any animals or anything, really, D. I wasn't cool enough to do that, but I just liked being a part of it because I got to wear the jacket, and then they took us on trips. So I like to go places. It was fun. But I remember they would go out there, and I believe some of them, do they have shows for livestock and stuff, too? I know some of my friends would go do that.
Yes, so there's lots of different shows that actually happen out here at the Osage Fairgrounds, but right now it's Calvicade, and if you don't know what that is, it's a really, really big deal here in Oklahoma. It's actually the world's largest amateur rodeo. So it's the 74th year out here. We're really excited, and this is my first time, so I am definitely coming back for that 75th anniversary next year.
Tell us a little bit about the schedule. So we're here just after noon. What's going to happen for the rest of the day?
Okay, so the rest of the day, we're going to have the rodeo that starts off at 7 p.m. So you want to make sure you get here just a little bit before then. There's a lot of parking still available, but make sure you get here a little bit early so you can make sure you get yourself a corn dog and a nice cold drink before you enjoy the rodeo. And then this evening, there's going to be the dance underneath the stars, and that starts around 10:30, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be a really great time, a full day packed with activities, lots of fun. Get on outside. I know there's a lot of people that have been cramped up inside, and this is a great opportunity to get out with your family and start turning some miles into memories and just making generally good memories with your family. What
are you seeing so far as turnout and people doing, like, are you seeing masks and those sort of things, or how are they handling the fact that there's a pandemic?
Yeah, there's a couple different masks around, but people are definitely staying a couple different feet away from each other. Everyone's definitely keeping in mind social distancing at its finest. And really, I think everyone's just out here to really enjoy themselves and kind of put that stuff behind us and kind of forget about the pandemic.
It's Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, and you guys are out there at Calvicade Rodeo. You took a couple of RVs out there, and I was wondering, last week you said you have to do these deliveries, go set them up, and you had 3 to take out. So I guess you had to do a lot of back and forth, which it's not the closest drive ever. How'd all that go?
Well, it went really, really smooth. With deliveries or driving RVs, there's always just a little bit of risk, and you never quite know what you're getting into. And I did bring 3 units down here. So the first one I brought is the 2015 Raptor. It's actually the 365. So if you want to check out what that looks like, you can get on our website. Tons of different pictures, and the floor plan is also on there as well. So I brought that down here. It's a triple axle. It's got a party deck on it. It's got the generator. It has just about every feature that that you could ever want on an RV. And one of my favorite things, it has the outside entertainment. So you can always listen to music and you can always turn on KRMG and tune in. So that's always great. And then I also brought the Kodiak with me. It's a 2018 and it's a bunkhouse. So it has one super slide in there that has a great dinette booth. It's what I call a U-shaped dinette booth. So it gives you a little bit extra space whenever you convert it down to a bed. It also has the couch in that super slide. And one of my favorite features, I know you love this as well too, Skyler, is the fireplace. And
Yes.
it is a little warm outside to have a fireplace, but it's an electric fireplace. So you can turn it on even if it's 100 degrees and you don't have to have the heat. You can just sit back and watch it and, kind of remember the good old times in the winter when you could start a fire and sit around the campfire at your campsite. So I have that one out here, and it also has an outside kitchen. One of the most important things with a camper sometimes is having that outside kitchen and the awning, of course. It's really, really warm today. So sitting underneath that awning is going to be a fantastic time. So loaded out with features. The only thing that one doesn't have is power jacks. And for me on travel trailers and stuff, I actually love having the manual jacks because I can just bring my drill and put a bit on there and then just crank it right on down. And it's super fast, super easy. And I think they're just a little bit stronger overall. So that's a really great unit. And thirdly, this is a rodeo. So, you're hauling big trailers. I hauled a couple big trailers down here this weekend myself. And so I brought a sport chassis, one of my favorite trucks. And if you don't know what those are, let me give you a little rundown. This is a fantastic truck, and it's actually classified as a pickup truck. So you don't actually need a CDL license for it. And you can tow 30,000 pounds. And I was having a little bit of a debate with a few people on Facebook because they have their big old F450. Well, guess what? Your F450 doesn't have a 17,000 pound axle behind it. Yeah, it can tow 30,000 pounds, but it doesn't necessarily have the same stopping power or the maneuverability that the sport chassis has. So it's a really great truck, super, super heavy duty, and you can put tons of miles on it. This is what we would call a 1,000,000-mile motor. So this is the same motor that they're putting in big diesel trucks and then also your big diesel motorhomes as well. So you're going to be able to get a lot of life out of that Cummins 350 engine.
I have driven a sport chassis, thanks to you guys letting me do that. That was a risk because I've never driven anything that big, but it's really easy to drive, and I loved it. And if I could cruise around in one of those all the time, I would. And I would imagine pulling something, I wasn't pulling anything, but I would imagine towing something with that truck is just like butter.
Oh, it is incredible. One thing I love is if you are driving it around as a daily driver, it actually has a 700-pound counterweight in the rear. So whenever you're driving around, it's not going to be shaking your teeth out of your head. And so that's a really, really great thing because a lot of times I am driving it around empty. But whenever it is loaded, it actually that's a great expression, drives like butter. I would always use the expression drive like a Cadillac because I love Cadillacs. So with that, it drives like a Cadillac. It is super smooth. And it's not necessarily that much of a risk with you driving it because it is so easy. And that's why so many people buy these trucks, because they are so easy to drive around and turn. One thing I love is the turning radius. Whenever you crank that steering wheel, that thing will turn, and it turns on a dime too. So it's really, really easy, and anyone can drive it. If you're interested and you just want to kind of come out to Wade's RV and test drive one, come on out. We actually just sold 2 that went out the door this week. So we do have a couple more left, but you want to make sure you take advantage of the deals while they last, because whenever the 2015s are gone, they're gone, and then they're going to go up about $30,000. So in my book, that's quite a bit of money. So people need to get out and take advantage of that deal as soon as possible.
Yeah, they move quick, and they're really cool. I remember when we first started talking about them, you guys brought a book up here for me to see what the different color options are and the different transmissions you can get and all that cool stuff. So I love that you guys carry those, and they're really fun to drive. I'd love to do it again one day if we can work that out. I don't know if we can do that, but I'd love to try it.
Hey, we'll definitely make it happen sometime soon. Whenever we get back to the studio, I'll bring it up, and then we can go get some Speedies for lunch or something.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Camping with Wade's RV. We're coming up on a break here. Willy D is live out on location at Calvicade Rodeo in Pawhuska. And if you want to go see them, they're out there for tonight. The rodeo happening later, and then tomorrow too, right?
Yes, that's correct. So tomorrow is going to be the grand finale. So if you don't have anything going on Sunday as well, come on out. There's still going to be lots of fun going on. And if you're anything like me, you want to enjoy every single minute of your weekend. So come on out here and enjoy a good time with us this Sunday.
When we get back from the break, Willy D is going to introduce us to a couple of folks who are using these RVs out at the rodeo and how they're going to put those into use for this weekend. Give us a little preview. Who are we going to be talking to?
Okay, so you're going to be talking to G Money Rodeo Company. And so there's a couple different members of the team that are going to talk to us about what they do out here at the rodeo, tell you a little bit more more about Calvicade because, like I said, I'm a little bit of a novice. I've been out here a couple of days, and I've just been absolutely loving it, but these guys have been out here for years. So they're going to give us a little bit more of a rundown of what to expect and what's going on all this weekend.
It's Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG.
Camping with Wade's RV every Saturday at noon on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Welcome back. It's Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Skyler Cooper with Willy D today, and he is way out in Pawhuska for the Calvacade Rodeo, and they're going to be out there through today and tomorrow. The rodeo is tonight at 10:30. There's a concert tonight. The rodeo is at 7, Willy D. I'm almost starting it too late there. The concert sounds like it'll be cool. Jason Boland's playing.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be a great concert. I've actually never seen them, but I am a huge Red Dirt fan, so I know it's going to be a good time, and I can't wait. It's called The Dance Underneath the Stars, so I'm definitely going to be cutting a rug this weekend.
You guys took 3 units out there from Wade's RV, and they're being put to use. It's something that really goes hand in hand, I would think, rodeos and RVs. So we're going to talk to some of the people who are out there taking care of those. Willy D, introduce us to our first guest.
Okay, so our first guest that we're going to have on here is Steven, and he is in charge of G Money Rodeo. And so I'm going to hand it off to him and let you go ahead and ask him a couple questions. And so you guys can hear exactly how he's using this RV and kind of what he does out here day to day.
Steven, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
We're doing pretty good. It's definitely been warm this week, but we're making it with these good awnings on these great RVs for sure.
So it sounds like a good time out there. Tell us a little bit more about Calvacade from your experience and what you guys do out there.
We supply all the stock, the roping cattle, the bucking bulls, the horses, and we take care of them while they're here all week and feed them and hay them and keep them in good health and try to keep them cool. They provide some shade for all our livestock, and so it takes quite a bit of cattle and horses and stuff to supply this rodeo. They get about 1,500 contestants at this rodeo, normally on an average. Sometimes there's 1,600, sometimes there's on average 1,500 contestants throughout the week. And then they bring the top 10 guys back to the short round in each of the events. So Sunday's a good day too. Yeah,
Willy D was saying that it's the largest amateur rodeo, 74 years. It's been going on for a long time. I've heard of it, but I've never had the pleasure of being there. For someone who's never been, what is the rundown? What would you typically see in a day?
Well, they start in the morning. They have so many contestants. They got to have over 4 contestants. They run what we call slack. They start them at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they start on Tuesday. And so we've been running contestants all week in the morning and in the evening performance. And you can come to the morning performance with a discount rate and just watch all your timed events, your roping calves, and they rope anywhere from 10 and under calves to older men's calf roping, team roping, wild cow milking, which is always a good event. I mean, there's 2 guys, one ropes, one runs up, tries to hold her still, while the other one gets off his horse and gets some milk and run across the finish line in the fastest time. The wild horse race, it's a 3-man team. Pretty simple. They turn the horse out, hold him still, saddle him, ride him across the line. Well, might be a little bit more to that. These horses ain't broke to ride. And it gets pretty interesting. We've had some sure enough good wrecks this week. Nobody's really been hurt, but it's been sure enough good in the wild horse race. Bull riding, of course, that's everybody's favorite event to watch. We put it at the end of the rodeo, so they got to stay for everything to watch the bull riding. So then we had some good rides this week. We should have a good short round, and looking good so far.
Sounds like a lot of good fun out there. And like you said, it's hot, but that's okay. It's Oklahoma in the summer, and we kind of expect that. You guys are using these RVs out here. And I'm just curious because we talk a lot about all the different uses for RVs on this radio show, about people who live in them full time or use them for work, use them casually on the weekends. What do you guys do with them?
Well, I tell you what, they give us 6 hookups down here, and we pull in usually on Sunday night or Monday sometime, and we put 2 awnings together, put 2 travel trailers side by side, and do our awnings together because it's so hot out here and we have shade 24/7. And it's like a home away from home. I mean, we cook breakfast in the morning for our crew. We cook dinner for our crew at nighttime. And we got a fish fry. Matter of fact, tonight, we got about 30, 40 pounds of catfish and crappie, and we're going to have a big old fish fry this evening for dinner. And so Willy D and the crew, they definitely picked a good day to come join us.
And if people go out there, I mean, I don't know exactly how, if you can just roll on in, given everything that's different this year, what you got to pay to get in. What are some of the details?
Yeah, anybody can come. You can buy tickets at the gate. You can pay to get in the gate. They, like Willie D was saying, there's all kind of fair food. There's vendors, rodeo vendors that have nothing really to do with the country lifestyle. I mean, there's jewelry, there's corn dogs, the lemon drinks are what everybody's carrying around and drinking, and then the funnel cakes. Of course, you can go anywhere. You can't go anywhere and get just any funnel cake. You can get funnel cakes here. It's pretty cool.
There's something about that. Is it the frozen lemon drink that just really cools you off in the summer?
You bet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is Stephen from G Money Rodeo Company. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Coming up on a break here, Willie D. It sounds like a lot of fun out there, and Stephen's really good at describing exactly that atmosphere. And I love the idea of putting two travel trailers side to side like that so you can put the awnings together.
Oh, it's a super great idea. Whenever you put those two together, it just really kind of completes it. And it's almost like a big cave. So it's really cool. You can drive underneath it. You can ride a horse underneath it. And you can absolutely walk underneath it. So it makes it really, really handy. Whenever we get back from the break, we're going to have Mark. And he is actually a pickup man here at this rodeo. And he's got his Jayco out here. He's having a good time. He's been out here actually longer than me or even Steve. So I'm really looking forward to introducing him and hearing a little bit of what he does out here at the rodeo as well.
I'm assuming a pickup man is not anything to do with Joe Diffie, but that's the song that just hit my head, so I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, play that whenever we come back from the break. I love that song. But yeah, no, he's the pickup man. What that means is whenever you're bucking horses or bucking bulls, there's a man running around making sure the livestock is taken care of and you are taken care of as well in that arena, and that's exactly what he does.
All right, as we return, it is Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Just something women like about a pickup man.
Welcome back to Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG. Willie D, little pickup man from Joe Diffie. May he rest in peace. I loved that guy's music, and it's always a good opportunity to play it.
Absolutely. I love that song. I love just about every one of his songs, if I had to be 100% honest. But yeah, you can't beat a little Joe Diffie. And if you come out here, you're definitely going to hear some of that good old classic country music mixed with a little bit of modern as well. We got some red dirt out here. Really excited for the concert this evening. It's going to be Jason Bolin. Super excited. Never seen them, but it's going to be a great red dirt concert. We also got a couple different RVs out here. So if people are interested in possibly purchasing a travel trailer, I got that out here. We also have that Raptor. And of course, our favorite truck of all time, the good old sports chassis.
He is at Calvicade Rodeo out in Pawhuska, and it sounds like a lot of fun. Stephen from G Money Rodeo Company was telling us about it, and it just sounds like a great weekend. He mentioned those lemon drinks that everyone's got carrying around out there.
Yes.
I've had one of those at pretty much every hot outdoor event I've been to, and there's something that's just immensely refreshing about that. And as long as those are on full supply for the weekend, I think people can stay cool.
I don't think there is any shortage of them. Everyone's walking around with them. It's got me really wanting one as well. So right when we get off this radio show, I'm going to go up and get me one myself. So if you're looking for me out here, you'll find me at the lemonade stand.
So you can find Wade's RV out there as well. And we've been talking to some of the guys who are hanging out with Wade's RV and Willie D at the Calvacade Rodeo. And we talked with Stephen before and a little bit about what they're doing. They supply the animals and take care of them. Coming up, we're going to talk to, and the reason we played Pickup Man from Joe Diffie is we're talking to a pickup man, but I don't think it's about trucks. So, Willie D, tell us a little bit about who we're going to talk to next.
Okay, so you are going to be talking to the pickup man for the rodeo. His name is Marshall. So he goes around. I'll let him go ahead and tell exactly what he does, but he takes care of the livestock inside the arena and then also takes care of the guys whenever they're bucking on the horses and bulls and things. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to him, and he's out here camping with us, and we've had a really great time. So I'm going to hand it over to him, Skyler.
Hey, Marshall, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing very good. Now, we were joking and playing a little Joe Diffie pickup man because that's the first thing that came to my mind when I heard that phrase, but I don't think it's got anything to do with trucks, does it?
No, sir, it does not.
All right. So what is pickup man? What do you do?
Oh, basically, we're out there in the arena when they buck all the horses. Our job is to not only get the riders off safely and get them to the ground, but also get the animals out and keep the flow of the rodeo going.
Okay. So when you watch a rodeo and you see someone running out there to kind of clean up a little bit, that's you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, that must be an interesting job and a lot of fun. How do you get into this?
Oh, most of us, the guys that are picking up now, had been contestants at one time or another and kind of learned the sport and learned what to do and just kind of fell into place and went that route with it.
Now, there's got to be a little bit of an adrenaline rush. Maybe not as much danger as the guy who's riding, but still a little bit. I mean, you could get charged or something, right?
Oh, yeah, there's quite a bit. I mean, broken hands and seem to happen quite often. Them horses are bucking, and you're trying to get a hold of their head and get them calmed down and get the flanks and stuff off of them. Quite a bit can happen when they're trying to jump in your lap.
Talking with Marshall, what company are you with?
We're working with G Money Rodeo Company, Stephen Gussert, and them this week.
Sounds like a lot of fun out there at Calvicade. Is this something that you've done before? How many times have you been to Calvicade?
Oh, this is my, I think, 5th or 6th year to pick this rodeo up.
And how long have you been doing it as a whole?
As a whole, for 15 years.
Okay. So I'm curious. It sounds like something that you probably get into early. You get that bug at a young age, and you just can't shake it. So where did rodeo passion come in your life?
Oh, well, we were kids. I kind of grew up in town and never really had an opportunity to go much and do much of the roping or anything else. So we got into riding saddle bronc horses when I was a kid and riding bulls. And the older you get, the more crippled up you get, and you can't get away from it. That's just kind of the way we move, just move straight into the pickup side of it.
That's a similar story for me. I used to like to ride dirt bikes and four-wheelers and race, and then I realized that I'm just not that good at it, so I'm going to stop doing that. But I still like to go out and have a little fun and be around it. You can't just stop.
No, there's no way. And once you're used to it, you go so much. We're usually gone somewhere every weekend, pretty much year round. And the guy that I work with, we kind of work just about every rodeo together. So you get kind of a camaraderie built up with not only contestants, but the guys you work with. And it's pretty hard to get away from.
Right. I can imagine. So listening to Camping with Wade's RV on KRMG, talking with Marshall, and they're out at Calvicade Rodeo in Pawhuska this weekend. It sounds like a lot of fun for people who want to get out and go do something. It is hot, but it is okay. We keep talking about all the lemon drinks they have that sound really good. I want to go out there and get one of these. I've had them at theme parks and those sort of deals. So that's what I'm imagining that you guys are experiencing out there this weekend. We were talking a little bit with Steven before about the RVs you have set up out there and how those can be really a big part of the rodeo lifestyle, I would imagine. How do you see RVs playing into what you do?
Oh, you can't really go without them. You're like this deal here. We're here for a solid week, and it's hot. You've got to have somewhere to cool off and somewhere roomy where you can stretch out. And Wade's done an awesome job out here and setting them up and helping the guys out, and not only me, but just everybody else out here. If you don't have one, you're kind of in trouble. And for us being here all day long, all night long, 24 hours a day, you've got to have them. Some of these that are set up, they're the nicest out there.
Right. Yeah. Somewhere to cool off, somewhere to sit down, take the boots off for a minute and just chill out.
Yeah. I mean, get the heat off of you.
Yeah.
And so if there's somebody out here that doesn't have one, they can come over here and pick this one up and haul it right over to the campground, and they'll be good to go for themselves for the rest of the week.
So take me through the weekend. Yeah, I mean, you told me a little bit about what you do during the rodeo. You're the pickup man, but I imagine you have other duties throughout the weekend and set up and those sort of deals. What all do you experience?
Well, we get here usually on Sunday and start hauling them and livestock in and getting everything ready. So constantly, if we're not in the middle of the rodeo, we're back here in the back pen sorting stock, doctoring stock, making sure if anything's hurt, they're taking care of the best possible, feeding stock. So as a pickup man, that's your job. Just doesn't end in the arena. It ends when the actual rodeo's gone and everything's loaded up and safe and headed home. So we're at it pretty much 15, 16 hours a day, just handling the stock.
Yeah, that'll keep you busy. That's a full-time job on its own. Plus you got to do the rodeo itself.
It is, but you can't do it without it.
Right. So I would imagine, I don't know that this is the right phrase, but kind of what Steven was talking about. There's events throughout the week, and then we're leading up to the sort of the finale on the end of the week, right? So are there eliminations? Is there a bracket kind of system? How does that work?
What it is, they have a separate perf in the morning, and they call that the slack. It's where the guys, they have so many they can't fit them all into each night performance. They take the fastest times or the highest scores from every event, the top 10 from every event, and then they'll bring those top 10 back Sunday for what they call the short round. And that's the best 10 over the whole week in every event.
And then is it at the end of the event, is one guy crowned a winner, or what is the ultimate end result?
Yep. One guy's crowned a champion. He wins all the money and he wins the buckles.
Well, the buckles, of course, but how much do you know the purse? How much do they win?
Not at this rodeo. I haven't seen the exact purse. A lot of time these smaller amateur rodeos, you're looking at 1,000 to win. That's some of the smaller ones. This and here, you've got so many contestants, it's probably going to pay quite a bit more than that.
Yeah.
And then you move up to some of your bigger pro rodeos and you're looking up to 50,000 an event.
Be a good payday.
Nice payday.
It is Marshall working out there with G Money Rodeo Company on Camping with Wade's RV. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Perfect. It was great to have Marshall on. I'm glad everyone got to hear a little bit about what he does. There's so much more to a rodeo than just showing up and having a horse or having a bull come out of that chute. There's a lot more to it, and that's exactly what I've been seeing out here is these guys are working nonstop, and it's really amazing the care that they give to these animals.
Well, you found some of the best experts, man. I mean, these guys know this stuff in and out, and it's cool that you can supply them with some RVs to get in there and kick the boots off and cool down a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm supplying them with RVs, and they're supplying me with some horses to buck, I guess. That's what they keep talking about. We'll see if I actually get on one or not. But it's a great time out here. Everyone should definitely come on out. Like we said, there's a concert going on, and the fun is not going to end today. So if you're out there at Wade's RV picking out your brand new RV, guess what? You can come on out here and plug in and have a good time with us on Sunday as well, because the rodeo is still going to be going on. So get on out here because it's a great time. It's a great time to get outside, and it's a great time to also meet some new friends and, see some old ones as well. I showed up and I already had a couple friends here, and I just thought it was really cool. Oklahoma is kind of a big but small place. It's awesome, kind of how Tulsa is a big but small town. Oklahoma is really great because you can always find a friend somewhere close.
It's Camping with Wade's RV. We need to take a quick break. This is Skyler Cooper. We'll be right back on 102.3 KRMG.
You're listening to Camping with Wade's RV on 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.
Welcome back. It is Camping with Wade's RV. You're listening to 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk. Skyler Cooper with Willy D. Willy D live out at Calvicade Rodeo this weekend in Pawhuska, and we've been interviewing some of the people who are out there working the event, the pickup man. We talked to Steven from G Money Rodeo Company too, and it sounds like a lot of fun. We'll talk with Brandon in a moment. He's the announcer out there. Maybe he and I can compare our pipes, Willy D, and see who's got it better.
He definitely has a great voice on him, so you guys might have to have a little radio off. I don't know. What is that called in the radio world? It's not a dance
I don't
off.
know.
What would you call it?
I don't know. We don't do that. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if I was just missing out on something there.
He would most certainly win. That's for sure. But before we get into Brandon, we want to talk a little bit about what's new at Wade's RV. At the beginning of the show, we talked about a lot of the expansion again that you guys are doing, and you can check it out 161st and Highway 75 at Wade's RV, or call them 918-291-1011. But you guys have new stuff coming in all the time. I know you've probably got some new stuff this week. What's out there?
Yeah, so we've been having new units arrive every day, and you got to come out and see what we have. And if we don't have it, guess what? We can get it ordered for you. What's really cool is that RVing has become so popular. If there's so many floor plans out there, we have so many that people are just putting their name on before it even arrives. So we actually did have 2 units arrive that people did not put their name on. And the first one is a 192 RV. And this thing is great. It's only about 22 foot long. It's lifted. It has off-road tires, and it has solar panel prep, solid steps. It has just about every option that you would want on a unit to begin with. And it's super compact, super lightweight, and it actually has an independent suspension. I got to tow one a couple weeks ago, and it is super, super smooth whenever you're towing it. So that is a really great unit, and it's only about $250 a month. So someone can get out there and start camping really, really affordably. And what I like is there's not even a slide in it. So what you can do is if you're traveling down the road, you need to use the restroom, it'd be super easy to do that. Or if you wanted to get out and you make yourself a sandwich while you're traveling down the road, you can do that as well. So a really, really great floor plan. And then we also had its brother, which is the 192 FQS. And what that means is front queen with a slide. And so with this, you have a full queen bed. You also have a slide that has your couch. And so that's how that slide and how that floor plan is laid out. And you also have a full fridge, very, very important, with a microwave. And so that one arrived. And we also had a Sabre arrive, and it's a 301 bunkhouse, if I'm not mistaken. It's got its own bunk room right in the rear, so you can have your own privacy. It's got a nice big bathroom, and it has all the amenities, and the styling is second to none. So it's just an incredible unit that you got to see for yourself.
I love the Sabre. That's the modern interior too, right?
Yes, exactly. A little bit of the office there. It's got a great modern interior. I love the nickel-plated faucets. That's one of those great touches, and the blinds are revolutionary as well. If you haven't seen these blinds, get online or come out and see us at Wade's RV, and we'd love to give you a demo.
All right, so before we wrap up today, we've got a couple of minutes. Let's talk with Brandon, who is the announcer out here at Cavalcade.
Hello.
Brandon, welcome to Camping with Wade's RV. How are you today?
I'm I'm wonderful. How are you, sir?
Doing very well. So I was joking with Willy D that we'd have to have a little announcer off, but the truth is I don't know what I'm doing. You're probably the pro. Tell me a little bit about what you do out there and what your job is.
I'm going to tell you that when it comes to the announcing side of it, it's probably the funnest job of the entire deal. I mean, you're the one that keeps everything going, keep the show rolling. You're the one that gets the crowd interacting, and that's what it's all about, especially with the year we've been having. It's been an awesome opportunity to come out here and be with the people and get everybody to see all the enthusiasm and see that there is life out there.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? I'm just reminded of a funny story because you're announcing a rodeo, and I'm pretty sure that was the first time I grabbed a live mic and said anything. I was probably 5, 6 years old at a rodeo, and there used to be something big in Tulsa. I think it was there, and my dad's in the business too, so this is how I was able to get the permission to grab a mic. But I'm dressed up as George Strait because I was 5 or 6, and that's of course who I wanted to be. And I got to say the "let's do it" to get the rodeo started. There's like a kickoff ceremony, and I just from then on I've been obsessed with that sort of thing, and really that side of it, like you said, and calling anything. I know people call football games and races, and you with rodeos. You get to be the fan, the observer, but be a part of it because you know the guys and you're all up in the action. I mean, I can't imagine a more fun job.
Oh no, it is spectacular because when it comes to the Western way of life and rodeo, we're still very patriotic. We kick it off with the prayer and national anthem and just the stage you set prior to it. You know that you honor your veterans and there's nothing like a rodeo kicking it off.
So we've been talking with Willy D from Wade's RV about the way they're using the RVs out there, and it just seems like a hand-in-hand deal. I mean, I don't know if the announcer gets your own trailer, but it seems like those things, you just have to have them for a weekend of rodeo.
You just have to. I mean, when you're traveling up and down the road all over the country, week in and week out, day in and day out, if you don't have an RV, you're kind of behind the games, You can get a horse trailer or whatever, but for an announcer, Wade's RV, that's what you need. You got to have an RV going up and down the road to have all the intimacies of home, have all the air conditioner, that you can cook your own supper. And so, yeah, it's spectacular to have an RV out here. Imagine.
So give me a quick background. I'm going to jump backwards for a second. How do you get into this field and how do you become the announcer?
By accident. You got to be a fan first. I started off riding bulls and figured out real quick that that's a little bit too tough for me. Tried fighting bulls, figured out I don't like to get hit, and just kind of moved on. I worked at back pens for a lot of years, sorting stock and moving stock around. And one day a guy said, "Hey, you need to buy a sound system." And I bought a sound system and accidentally become the announcer. And I've been about 12 years now, and I go coast to coast and border to border, and it's just been an awesome adventure. But you got to be a fan first, and like I say, it was an accident. I'm where I'm at.
That's the story for so many people in that industry, in my industry. It's, that passion comes first, and it's cool that that's the same way it works for you. And you were naturally gifted with the beautiful dulcet tones, the wonderful voice for it. So I think it's a natural fit.
Well, thank you.
Brandon, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It was great to hear from him. There's so many different elements of what comes together for a rodeo. And I got to say, I love every opportunity that I get to come out to a rodeo. This is a great one. It's been going on all week long, and I'm really excited to come back next year for that 75th anniversary.
Willy D, I think we need to have Brandon cut a couple promos for the radio show. What do you say?
Hey, he's pretty good, man. I think we got to get him on there.
For a second there, I thought you were tricking me. I was like, am I talking to Trace Adkins? This guy's got
He definitely has the voice, that's for sure.
We are just about out of time for the day. Go check out Calvicade. Check out Wade's RV, 161st and Highway 75, or the Service Center, 121st and Highway 75. They can also find you online, Willy D.
Yeah, you can always check us out online at www.wadesrv.com or go on Facebook, Instagram, and my favorite of all time, YouTube. And you can see all of the stuff that we have going on here, and check on during the week. We're going to be coming out with all the videos showing you exactly what these guys do and their jobs throughout the week. So it's going to be really exciting, and I can't wait to see you guys out here.
Camping with Wade's RV every Saturday at noon. We'll be back next week. It's 102.3 KRMG, Tulsa's News and Talk.